Okay, are we recording?
Your guess is,
Are you sure?
Your guess is as good as mine.
This is an absolute shambles, isn't it? Well, welcome to the sunny side of France, where
Welcome.
you've got a former rugby player and rugby league player who's in cahoots, I guess you'd call it, with I won't call him an icon, but he's definitely gay. Okay, and
There's no allegedly about it.
yeah, it's a strange sort of makeup we've got going here, but apparently we're going to put together a podcast.
Yeah, we're going to give it a crack. I mean, it's an unlikely combo, I suppose you'd say, as you mentioned, a gay guy and former All Black, which you might go as far as to say is like that's the kind of like the pinnacle of like New Zealand masculinity, right? Some might look at it like that.
Yeah. No, definitely. Well, rugby and rugby league, to be honest. But, I think there's more to being a man than kicking a bit of leather around the field, to be honest. I guess we really need to know if you've ever done a podcast before, David, have you?
It's a good question, pertinent question, Matthew. No, I haven't. I've listened to a lot. I love a podcast.
See, I haven't even listened to a podcast, which I think stands us in good stead because we won't be trying to copy everybody else's podcast. We'll just be doing our own podcast because everybody does a podcast now.
Everyone does a
kids are doing
podcast. If we're doing a podcast, everyone's doing
It's just a podcast thrown all around the world. Like, I reckon people just, and the reason why I'm doing this podcast is because we want to get a message out there, and it's a pretty cool one. But also, we're self-medicating. Okay?
It's true.
We're definitely self-medicating because he's batshit bonkers, and I'm crazy. No, truly.
Welcome. So Matthew came up with this bright idea of having a podcast. To me, it's probably one of the most terrifying concepts I've ever come across, but I'm rolling with it.
No, you are shaking, David. You do tend to shake a little bit. And David's done all the work on this, by the way. Like, he's bought all the equipment. He's come around to my place. He's driven like 3,000 miles to get here. It takes about 45 minutes, and then he drives 3,000 miles home. And he doesn't get paid.
Neither do you.
It's fucking idiot, eh? No, I don't get paid either. But like I said, this is self-medicating for us. So we do have a message.
We do have a message. We've not knowing anything about podcasts. We've had a chat to a couple of people who know a little about podcasts, and they've told us everyone says structure, and that's fine. But I guess for two people who have run effectively from structure their entire lives,
yeah,
this could be tricky. So bear with us.
Yeah, just remember that you've got a mic there, mate. You got to speak into it.
Okay.
Otherwise, they won't be able to hear you.
This is going to be
and you can stick the structure up your ass. It won't matter.
This is going to be the most problematic part of all.
You just remember, have to lean and suck your gut in. That'll be hard. Oh, no, not too bad. And speak to the mic. Speaking to the mic. So, yeah, we basically, we're a couple of sifters that live in the south of France, really. David's 40, I don't know, he reckons he's 43. I'm 55. And we're just basically sifting around the south of France, like... Well, not really. Really, we can't be arsed sticking with the structure, so we're just going to wing it, okay? If you enjoy it, cool. If you get a message out of it, and I think you will. And basically the message for us is, I think humanity's going in the wrong direction, and we've lost the ability to just communicate on a basic level with your eyes, your mouth, your body language, just all that stuff. Everything now is all about computers, social media, we're all too cool. We walk down the road, nobody looks at one another, no one asks how anybody is. You see someone crying on the ground, you see someone dying on the ground, people just walk past now. What's with that shit? And this is all the stuff that I want to talk about, and we're going to get guests on, aren't we, David?
We're going to get a few guests on because we are... If we're experts at anything, it's not knowing anything.
That's exactly right.
We are not afraid to ask questions. So we'll be asking a lot of questions, a lot of dumb questions, but we're interested.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we want to know more. We also want to sort of take a look at this whole thing with, we'd like to revisit stereotypes. I think, we're also stereotyped these days. Cancel culture, things like this. We want to, I guess, ask the sorts of questions that a lot of people are probably more sensible and just whispering about, or they're not even asking at all.
Yeah, but they are asking those questions. I reckon lots of people are asking the same questions that we want to ask, but everybody's too scared to because they're going to be cancelled. Like, you can't say, you know what I mean? You can't say that.
What, you could say it.
Oh, I was about to, but then I thought, no, I'm going to get cancelled. Just for example, the N-word, okay? Now, I get all that. I get it. But why can't you say it? Because if it's okay for to use it, then why can't we use it?
This is a deep conversation.
But you know what I'm saying? That's just one thing.
There's a good reason.
And then there's the gay thing, like, what do you want to be called? Do you want to be called gay? Do you want to be called homosexuals? Do you want to be called lesbians? Do you want to be called fags? Do you want to be called queer? I mean, because you've got so many names. Do you want to be called LBGT? Do you want to be called XYZ? Do you want to be called, hey, I'm a rabbit, or I'm a seal, or I'm a twink? I mean, I wouldn't have a clue.
Well,
right?
I think the bigger question is, like, not so much do you want to be called it, but, like, do you want to be offended if it's, like, you being called something that you don't necessarily like? And, we're all so triggered, so offended, so, like, our feelings are so important. Like, everyone's feelings are so fucking important these days. And, like, woke used to be a thing that sort of signified, a few years ago, woke was like, it's a good thing to be,
Hang on, can you just tell me, because I don't even know what woke is. Is that an acronym?
No, it's not. It means back in the day when it meant something decent, it was like, you're awake to, like, I guess.
So they came up with the word woke.
Yes.
Does that mean awake?
Because you're woken. What?
Oh my God.
But back in the day, 5 years ago, right?
Oh, yeah.
The word has changed meaning. Back in the day, woke was kind of like, I'm not a racist. Like, I'm cool with gay people. I'm open-minded. Now woke is like, if you don't accept the fact that my child identifies as a cat and wants to take a dump in kitty litter in its classroom, then you're a fucking fascist. That's what woke means now.
Does it?
I think so.
I'm definitely not woke then.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not woke either then.
No. Hey, don't get aggressive, mate. It's just a camera, okay? Jesus. Got to rein him in a little bit quick, can't. Right. Is that about it?
Yeah, that sort of covers what we're going to be doing.
Yeah. We need to talk any more about the fact that you're a homosexual?
We're going to get into that, Matthew.
Are we? Okay.
We're going to get into
that I'm a straight male from New Zealand living in the south of France?
Yep.
We're getting into that as well.
We're going to get into that.
Okay.
Connection for you's a biggie.
Huge.
I'm more cynical.
Yeah, you are really cynical, eh? You're the most cynical person I've ever met.
Thank you.
Like, I walk down the street, I'll say good day to everybody, and people get a fright when you say good day. Literally, they almost shit themselves. It's like, oh. And then and then every now and then, you're like, I try and, like, I get eye contact with people, like, from a distance, whether they're short, fat, little, whatever. But if they've got something that interests me, then I'll say, hey, that's looking cool. Or you look really smart today. Hey, nice pair of shoes. Or just a g'day. And honestly, when you interact with people, the stuff that you get back, I call it the free little dopamine hits. David, the free little dopamine hits that we get, when we walk down the street.
Absolutely.
And you're like, at the end of my lunch, you're like, wow, that's actually really cool, Matthew. Like, I get it, right? So I've been doing that for ages and running these experiments for ages. So your base level of happiness just rises every day. And you're not doing anything special. It's not costing you money. You're just being a decent human being and looking out for your fellow human beings and looking for connection.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I'm definitely guilty of that. I think any sort of human connection is can be pretty scary and pretty threatening, right? So
Really?
I think so.
Why?
Well, I don't know. The world around us is one full of conflict, right? There's so many people with different opinions. People are triggered these days. People don't like it if you don't agree with them. Sometimes it's easier to just stay in your lane, keep out of the way, head down, and you got a device there, right? You don't have to engage with the world because you got all your friends, all the people you agree with. You like?
Hang on a second.
Yes.
Yeah, you'd know that David's struggling with this, right? Because when he goes like this, you can't hear him. And he sounds so much better when he's like this.
Thank you, Matthew.
You're welcome.
We may run into this issue a few times, but,
That's all right.
Not having had the illustrious career in media that you have.
Well, exactly.
I am but a grasshopper.
You definitely. What? A grasshopper?
Isn't that from the Karate Kid?
I don't know, mate. I don't know where you're going with that. Anyway, cancel culture. So we're obviously about connection, and this is what our podcast is basically formed around is human connection, and how do we get a better human connection on a day-to-day basis? How do we get free hits of dopamine, I like to call it, from not drinking piss, snorting cocaine, smoking weed, taking trips, just normal shit that we used to do way back in the day, like...
Allegedly.
Well... yeah, you know, like, hang on a second. How the fuck did we meet?
Okay. We should give context to this unusual scenario. I guess that's fair enough.
Yes.
How did we meet? We met through your daughter, Jamie.
Yes.
Matthew's eldest child, who's an old friend of mine. Jamie and I go back many, many years, 15, 20 years maybe, and have been mates for a long time. Been through a lot. Her husband, Tommy's a mate of mine.
Yeah.
And I live in Monaco.
Yes. Snob. Fucking, I live in Monaco.
It is what it is, people.
It is. You know, for those who are lucky enough to live in Monaco and not pay any tax.
I am but a minnow in a sea of whales in Monaco. But I'm there.
Yeah.
Nonetheless.
And so am I, funnily enough. Only through David. So, yeah. But trust me,
I don't belong there, let's put it like that.
No, you don't.
Look, but I love it.
The other thing we want to do is let's cancel culture rubbish.
We didn't even get a tenth through the story of how we met. I mean,
okay, well, you were just dribbling, so can you just hurry
that's all I've got. Okay, so we met because Jamie was coming to visit you, stay with your wife, your two little children last year. She wanted to see us as well. And we thought,
and by the way, I live in France.
oh, Matthew lives in
So
France.
I moved to France with my wife because my wife wasn't speaking French to my two youngest children, just briefly. And that really annoyed me because I'm half Armenian and I don't speak Armenian because I didn't grow up with my father. So to hear my children not being able to speak their mother's tongue would have been unforgivable for me when they got older. So,
well, I mean, most people would have maybe spent a little on a tutor or...
But it's not the same, David. I
agree.
It's not the same as living in France. So we made the move to come over here, and my children have been here for probably 2 years now. And I've been here on and off for a couple of years. I keep going back to New Zealand, and they speak fluent French now. My French is it's non-existent.
No, that's not true.
But I can get around. No. So that's the reason why I'm here. And if I can just jump over David, my daughter said, I'd like you to meet a friend of mine. But Dad, can you not be how you normally are and, you know, just take the piss out of him? Because, do you mind me saying this, David?
I'll just proceed. Because he's without caution, I'd expect nothing less.
Because he is a handsome man, but he has had some help. So, and quite a lot of help. Not that you'd know, but because he's had a very good doctor. But anyway, my daughter, Helm, before you jump in over the top of me, because I can see you feeling...
No, I'm just making sure I stay close to the microphone.
That's good. My daughter said, Dad, he's had quite a bit of work, and, you know, can you please not, like, just shove it up his ass? So I was like, hey, don't be silly, darling. And so I said, can I have a look at a photo? And it was a photo of David and his husband, Jimmy. And they didn't look gay, to be honest. They looked like two, like, normal dudes, you know. I was like, oh, okay, look, no, this will be fun. Anyway, we get there. It's in Monaco, real flash beach club. They're sitting there, and I couldn't help myself. I sat down and I was like, bro, who's your doctor? It's unbelievable. Can I get a bit of that? Because he's done it's pretty amazing work when you consider what you've had done. Like,
oh, I mean, where I've come from, I was, you know, you wouldn't have looked twice before. Now you just want to look away.
No,
now.
That's not true. That's not true. But anyway, like, he's had fantastic work and done a lot of it. So that's the other thing that we want to talk about. There's loads of things we want to talk about on this podcast, but obviously appearance. What do you call it?
Aesthetics,
cosmetic surgery, and all that.
Well, I'm a big believer in a lot of exercise. Love my exercise.
Same.
I've not been an athlete like you have, but I was a swimmer.
True.
Love the gym. Great nutrition.
Yes.
Nutrition is.
You're
everything.
on a meat diet at the moment.
I'm doing carnivore. I've been on it for 6 months.
So he doesn't eat anything other than meat and like
dairy.
He does like a sausage as well, but we'll get to that later. But he does. He loves eating meat.
So as I was saying, good exercise, good nutrition, and a fucking good doctor.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong.
Yeah, superb. So, yeah, I guess we've covered a lot. Just our different backgrounds, okay? So, David is am I allowed to say this again, David? Because I'm letting out a lot here. David's a former alcoholic. He hasn't touched.
No, I am an alcoholic.
Oh, sorry.
I don't think you ever graduate to former.
Okay. Well, anyway, if anybody's going to graduate to former, it's definitely David, because he's been 14 years without any alcohol passing his lips, which for me says wonderful things about his personality, his courage. What else would you say about that? His desire to get better, and his willingness to not drink ever again.
Thanks, man.
It's pretty amazing when you consider, like, I've been unfortunate enough to been around a few alcoholics, and it is abysmal. It's abysmal to live around, and then to see the people that come out the other side, I take my hat off to them, because addiction is just an absolute mind fuck.
And I think that's something we'd really like to talk about, because you're passionate about it, having seen a lot of it, through your life. We're from New Zealand, we're a drinking culture. This is what we're
a drinking culture, and we're a drug-taking culture.
Drug-taking and all of it. And, none of that's necessarily a bad thing. There's a certain group of the population, like myself, who don't have the ability to moderate. And I'm not somebody who's probably easily embarrassed, so I find a great amount of freedom in telling people my story. And I often find, people will find out I don't drink. Later in an evening, someone will inevitably circle around and approach me. So, how much were you drinking? How did you know that you had a problem? And it'll eventually come out that they'll think they're drinking too much. And obviously I'll be able to say, well, I don't think you are. Or, this is what happened to me. Maybe you need to have another look at it. And it's led to some amazing stuff. So I'd love to touch on that, absolutely. And, bring in some people who know what they're talking about too. But, for me, I'm very proud of the journey I've been on. I've been to some pretty dark places, and I'm only here by, there's a bit of strength, and I guess it takes some courage and humility. Definitely humbling experience, but a lot of luck, a lot of family support. I had some opportunities that I was granted, rehab. Not everyone gets that opportunity, and some people squander it. I took it and ran with it, and I'm grateful for it. So
the other thing I'd like to bring up here is Jimmy's husband,
Ringo's husband,
Jimmy. Now, I know that sounds, well, for me, it sounds a little odd. Not these days, apparently, because everybody's allowed to be LGBT, TUSG, 77HQ. I'm a rabbit, you're a hare, I identify being a pig, all this sort of stuff now. But Jimmy did not know David while he was an alcoholic.
No, he met me. He met me 6 months out of rehab, actually. Like, he would not have tolerated drinking David.
No.
I was too much of a legend.
Yeah, we're scared of Jimmy.
Jimmy's like our dad.
Well, maybe your dad.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's the parent.
He is the parent.
He's bald. He's got a haircut like Matthew. I think if he had hair...
Well, he's 65 and I'm 55, and just to get
63. He'd pull his hair out.
Is he 63?
He's 63.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Okay, well, he looks bloody good for 63.
You just said he was 65.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was going to say he looks bloody good for 65, but he looks even better for 63. Jesus, you're hard work. Right.
Back to the mic.
So, you've obviously worked out that I'm heterosexual. Yeah.
Newsflash.
And David is a gay man.
I'm a gay man.
So what I wanted to touch on was that our relationship...
This is the jock and the puff.
Yeah, the jock and the puff.
Should we call the podcast there? Or is it we limiting it too much?
Yeah, probably. Anyway, let's get on to that later. So this friendship that we've developed over probably it's just over a year now. It's gone really deep really quickly, which is weird for guys anyway, because guys don't go deep, from my experience. Like I said, I'm 55. Anglo-Saxons, most male friendships are based around drinking piss, getting on it. Hey, how you going, mate? If you're struggling in your life, if you break up from your wife, if you've lost your job, your mates go, hey, mate, how you going? You go, I'm good. They go, sweet, let's get on the piss. And that's about the end of it, right? And you've got to battle through on your own.
Yeah.
Which is really, really weird. Why? And another reason why connection is such a huge thing for both David and I. So we connected on a pretty deep level. There's not a topic we can't talk about. I think a lot of people find it peculiar.
I mean, we do. Like, the whole thing is it's an unexpected connection, right? I think going back to, we met through Jamie at the beach club. You turned up with your preconceptions, which were like, they look like nice people. I turned up going, well, I want to see my mates, Tommy and Jamie, see your grandson, Porter, who I love to bits. And you were coming. My preconceptions were like, we've sort of crossed paths many times, but never met. Lots of people in common.
Didn't like me.
Didn't know you.
Didn't like me.
Didn't think enough to have an opinion.
Oh,
but if I had an opinion, it would have been like, this is probably not going to be someone I'm going to gel with, right?
true.
You know? Not good, not bad. You know, I'm not into, you know, you've had a profile in and around sports. I'm not into rugby. I'm not into fucking league. My mum's Welsh. I grew up being like drowned in the stuff. So I was like automatically did the contrary to what she wanted. Not interested in it. Anyway, so my perception going in, it was like, oh, I'm only really going to do this because Jamie's her dad. Anyway, sitting at lunch, all seemed quite good to start with. I was like, that's great. Then I noticed this guy is fucking up, down, can't sit still, round and round the table. And Jimmy's going, I could see Jimmy going, what is going on? And I, in my head, am immediately like, that's me. But like, that's like a 10 times worse version of me. This is an ADHD. Like, fucking, this is, I could see it immediately, right? So I was like, he's actually an interesting human being. And so I think does
ADHD make you interesting?
I think it makes me interesting.
Yeah. What is ADHD?
Well, we're going to get someone to talk a bit more about
Good,
that.
because I've got no idea, but everybody tells me I'm ADHD.
Well, I'm diagnosed 100%.
And you reckon I'm ADHD as well?
I think you are.
Yes.
To a point that I'm maybe a bit jealous of, because you're like super ADHD, whereas I'm like middle class.
Is there a pill you can take for ADHD?
Yeah, there is.
Excellent.
there is.
So I get some.
Yeah, you can. They're harder to get in France, but you can get them allegedly. And I think we pretty quickly connected. That was a long lunch. I think it finished at 3 a.m.
No, it was about 5.
Okay. Would you call that lunch?
Yeah, and we did have some help. A lot of alcohol.
Why?
But let's not go there because we'll get cancelled. Okay, so you've just got to pretend. You just use your imagination, okay? Like, we managed to push through till 5 o'clock in the morning, and then we departed. But what we said was the next time we'd meet without any lubricant. So, and we sat down and we had lunch together, me, you,
So romantic.
Jimmy. No, it was me, you, Jimmy, and Chloe.
It was. For a booze-free lunch, we decided on.
And Chloe's my wife. And yeah, it was a booze-free lunch, and we got on like a house on fire. So our relationship just blossomed from there. David's a very good French speaker, has a live land in France. So basically just, has helped me a lot since we've been here.
Well, we don't need to go into details, but
We're not going to.
Well, what's the point in doing this fucking podcast?
Oh, I'm not sure, mate.
It's all about the detail. No, not about our personal stuff. But what I was going to say is, in the last year, in our personal lives, we all live up here. We don't have any family network. We don't have big connections.
That's
and
true.
We've all been through subsequently a lot of, personal upheaval, and I think we've all proven to be good supports. Like, we've created our weird little family.
Yeah.
With its ups and downs, and it's been enormously rewarding and challenging. And I think it's meant that friendship progresses a lot faster and intensely than maybe it would have at home.
That's true.
But I also think with you and I too, I think I've always felt like an outsider in my life.
Because you're gay.
No, not just because of that. Like, definitely not like that. I've never felt like a part of the gay community. I never felt like I fit in New Zealand, but I've been comfortable with it. And I think you've described to me that at times in your life you felt like an outsider.
Oh, absolutely.
You can speak to that. But I think when you see or meet somebody who's like that, you recognize that being like that comes with, a bit of pain. Like you often feel judged because people don't quite get you. So when you meet someone who's like that, we saw that in each other and immediately sort of treated each other with, I guess, a bit more sensitivity than others might in the past, and it enabled us to, open up, say the sorts of things that we probably are dying to, and, each receive it kind of with openness. So we quickly went from meeting to laying all the cards on the table, judgment free, and we've found that, I think, enormously freeing. And
no judgment.
No judgment.
Which is so rare.
No judgment.
So rare because everybody's got an opinion.
And this man needs to be judged.
Yeah. So what I wanted to know was, and I think everybody else out there, I don't know, like, but I don't want to go into too much depth here because I could give it away and people might think that I'm a little weirder than I am. But when did you know that you were gay?
About 5 weeks ago when you said you wanted to do a podcast and you needed a gay foil and you didn't have any gay friends.
I've got plenty of gay friends because my mother's gay. So like I've been raised in the gay community, so to speak.
Something a lot of people probably don't know about you.
No.
Did I know that? Yeah, I did know that.
Yeah.
I did know that.
Yeah. So yeah, that was an interesting way to be raised, especially in the 70s. I was born in 68, so in the 70s, it wasn't cool to be gay. Everybody kept their gayness undercover, except the people that were fully out, which is normally butch lesbians. Don't cancel me. And butch lesbians were real ugly then. Like at least the butch lesbians now, like they look butch, but they've got a bit more pride about themselves, you know?
Yeah.
Do you think? Is that right? Anyway, we digress. But when did you know?
Well, I was going to say, you've probably had more exposure to gay culture than I actually have, to be fair.
To a point.
Yeah, maybe.
So. Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Like, I don't, again...
Well, my mum used to take me to gay parties and she'd leave me... Oh, my mum is a cool mum, don't get me wrong. I love my mum to death and I wouldn't change anything. Other than perhaps... I used to go to these gay parties and they were roaring gay parties and there were no men.
How old were you?
Oh, like, geez, yeah, 8 or 9, you know, like little. And my mum used to, you know, like go and do her thing. And that's perhaps why I'm the sort of person that I can go out on my own anywhere. It doesn't matter where I am in the world. I have no problem with just tripping out on my own and meeting people because I was sort of, I became accustomed to that as a young man really quickly, or as a boy really quickly. So my mum used to leave me in, you know, at parties, and I'd always wind up in the kitchen because I'd always be hungry. So I'd be opening the fridge looking for stuff, or I'd be sitting on the bench and people would come in and the gay ladies would come in and they'd literally sneer at me because I was a male, even though I was a child and a male, but I was a male because back then, and I don't know why that was, but lesbians really didn't like males. Is that right, or was that just something that I've?
Well, I think we're gonna have to get a lesbian in. Well, if that's your experience, that's your.
That was my experience.
Right?
Like, you know, like if I was at a party and I walked into the kitchen and I saw a little boy or a little girl, I'd say, "Hey, how you going?"
Yeah,
but nah. Do you think I could get a hello? I'd be lucky if I got a sneer was a, "Hey, how you going?"
Yeah. Well, I think back then. Maybe it's different. I don't know. Maybe like there was a culture, I think, of like total man hatred amongst.
I think there was.
There was the feminist thing going on, right? Well,
absolutely.
Like, it's been going on for a while, and then you couple that with like feminists on top of feminists. It's like there's no space for men.
None.
Not even a little boy who's the child of.
Yeah, exactly. And like again, I'm not saying anything bad about my mum, and I wouldn't change anything because it made me the person I am today, which is outgoing, gregarious. I can talk to anybody. I feel comfortable in any situation. But yeah, back then it wasn't super comfortable. But
it'd be interesting to ask your mum. Like, do you think maybe she was like kind of looked down upon maybe because she got pregnant? Obviously, to a man.
I don't know. I don't. These parties were hundreds of people there.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a party of like 5 or 6 or 10 or 12. There were like, you know, like 80, 90, 100 people there that you know, wouldn't have known my mum.
Okay.
You know, so
they were just random.
I'm assuming. But we digress.
Back to me.
Yeah.
So
when did you realise that?
I don't know if it was like
actually gay.
I don't remember ever just knowing. Like, I think it's just something I'd always known. Like, you go back, like I'd ask you, when did you know you were straight, right? Like, was there a moment in your head you were like, oh, it's them over them that I'll choose? You know, it's like a grey area. Like, maybe it's...
Yeah, but I'd like to throw something in here. I reckon that most of us, or like, I don't know, but I'm assuming that especially when you go through puberty, there's all your hormones going, so you're not sure whether you're this or you're that.
Yeah, but I was much younger. I was like a little kid, like probably like 4 or 5 or like even that little, and you know it not in a sexual way. You know, it's not in a smutty, lewd way. It's just you kind of know that you're drawn that way or that interests you. And I remember, because even kids, you hear stuff on TV, you see this, you see that. I remember there's the whole AIDS campaigns at the time.
Yes.
So I remember knowing at a little age that, like that, I think that's me or what I'm like. And I remember just like my childhood was overwhelming shame, I think, underneath.
Okay, but was there any, was there any trigger or something that you saw or heard?
It probably wasn't a trigger because I'm giving it too much credence. But looking back, if you look at, I loved Star Wars, for example. But I'm not a sci-fi person, but I love Star Wars. Who didn't? But I do remember thinking, Luke Skywalker's my favorite character in that movie.
Oh.
And I was like, I had the bed sheets. Well, I had Luke Skywalker on one side of the pillow, Darth Vader on the other, and I was like, I could only have Luke Skywalker up.
Well, now that you think about it, now that I'm thinking about Luke Skywalker, like going back to that, like Luke Skywalker, out of all the characters, he's probably going to be the queer one, isn't he?
You say that? I mean, like...
Well, he was like quite effeminate.
He wore robes.
Yeah, but he
had quite a floppy hairstyle,
and he wasn't super masculine.
I mean, he
wasn't like, who's the other guy on there?
He was banging his sister, so he's a little confused, that's for sure. Did he?
What?
Wasn't Princess... Anyway, Leia was the sister.
Was he banging her?
Well, they started off heading that way.
What are you talking about?
Anyway.
Wasn't she the princess?
She was, but
didn't she bang, what's his name?
Hans.
Hans.
So Hans, you'd look at Hans, you'd go, compared to Luke, he'd be...
Yeah, like Hans isn't gay.
Well, he could be.
What?
So you say that. So you're generalizing. You could be cancelled for that. He's your rough trade, Matthew. Like who? He's straight presenting. Well, like he doesn't have the the cliche affectations. There's no floppy wrist. There's no lisp. There's no, like he could still be gay, but he's rough trade.
What's rough trade?
Rough trade is like in the gay world. There's categories. Everything's got a name.
Hang on. So.
We're just bringing Matthew into,
oh my God,
what are we, 21st century? We'll bring him into the 20th century. I'm not even super okay with this sort of stuff, but like...
Just stop. So Han Solo, if he was gay, he would be considered rough trade.
Yeah, like kind of butch, right?
But is that a thing?
It's a thing. Like you've got...
What?
I mean, the whole cast.
I just thought you were gay. I didn't know you were a rough trade as well.
Come on. So you got to look at this. Where we go? Star Wars. You got Chewbacca. He'd be the bear. The big hairy dude, maybe with a big motor.
Okay.
Rides a bike in the hero parade.
So
that's Chewbacca.
So what you're saying, in the gay community, there are subsets of gay people that identify with rough trade guys? Who are like plumbers, electricians. Sorry, you guys.
Sparkies. Yeah.
Right, but they're not tradies.
No, they don't have to be tradies, but they kind of like, you'd look at them and go, they've got more masculine characteristics. Would that be the correct?
Okay.
So
they got...
Like if you had to pick them out in the line, it'd be like more feminine to more masculine. They'd be on that side.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to stand up. Hang on. This is, once we get this ADHD diagnosis, we'll be able to...
That's better. Oh, no, it's just because I've got broken knees. So just quickly, so there's a subset of cultures within the gay culture that gay people identify with.
Yeah, so it's like, if you think of yourself, like if you're one way, like maybe you're somebody who likes to wear leather or likes to have body hair, you want to like be around people who are like that, I guess. And then if you're somebody who's attracted to that, then you're drawn to those. So I don't know, like people have little encampments of like who they are or who they're attracted to. Like you got the young, pretty, you see them all in like the hero parades in New Zealand, which is the pride marches, and they're in like, I don't know, Speedos dancing down the street. Like those are twinks. And then you've got the bears on the bikes, or you've got the dykes on the bikes. You've got.
Hang on. So there's
Like Princess Leia could be a lipstick lesbian. Obi-Wan Kenobi could be like, I don't know, an old daddy.
but the guys that are in pink, like,
Doesn't have to be pink.
well, that like, explain a twink.
A twink. Okay. I don't have the official dictionary definition in front of me, but I think it's like that young, like 18 to early 20s, where they look kind of like adolescent, lean, prettyish, feminine, I guess.
Okay. So like the guys that we'd call fags. Hey,
Well,
I don't care if you cancel me.
I think
You can give a shit.
you can't cancel it because I'm here and I'm not getting offended. You know,
Yeah,
it's just a fucking word.
Yeah. Okay. So
This is what I'm big on with this whole thing too.
So we've identified that there's a subset of like there's the beers, the twinks, the rough tradies. Are there more?
Yeah, there's lots more.
Okay,
I mean,
we don't need to go into it. I just had no idea. I just thought you were all gay.
well, they are. We are.
Yeah.
But we come in all shapes and sizes, I guess. And then you got bears, I think, are like a bit older. You got younger up and comings who haven't spread out all their body hair.
And what are they called?
They are otters.
Oh my god. Far out.
I think.
You what? He's an otter.
Yeah.
Next you're going to be telling me there's seals.
You struggle for walruses. You see why I'm struggling to fit in? Like,
Mate.
where would I go? I mean,
That's
I'm a
unbelievable.
little hairy.
So that explains why, because I was in LA the other day and I was walking along Sunset Boulevard. Actually, we got dropped off. Me and my Armenian mate got dropped off in the I guess it's the gay promenade of Los Angeles, and holy moly, it was just a street full of pubs. They were packed, raging. Like, I've never seen anything like it. I was like, wicked, this is going to be cool. Nah, it wasn't.
Why?
Or not for us.
Why wasn't it?
Because we're straight.
Yeah, but I've said to you before, I was like,
But I've never been to a street, and like, they're like, what's on Sunset Boulevard?
yeah.
Or Sunset Boulevard, right? And there's about 30 bars, and they're just packed to the max. You find me a street anywhere in the world where it's packed to the max with heterosexuals. You just don't find it.
Isn't it most streets?
Well, yeah.
Most fucking streets.
Yeah, I guess so. Actually, I guess you're right. But not like that, not concentrated like that, where they're all out on they're all on the hammer, all looking to get laid.
Yeah, but I think, as I've always said to you, like, I have so many straight mates who love going to gay bars because girls go there because they feel safe, right? They can go, they can dance, they can be around like their gay buddies and not be accosted, except for these guys who come in and, there's heaps
Okay,
of-
so can I ask you a question? Like, see, for me, if I went to a gay bar, I would feel like I was just a cock tease. Like, I'm not gay. I'm never going to be gay. Don't hit on me. I'll be cool. But like, it's like, it's like you're a present. You walk in, you're like,
well, you're
dressed-
assuming a couple of things. You're assuming that you're going to be of interest. Like,
come on, mate.
you never know.
I've got the same thing you guys have got.
But you're also assuming that people are just there to bang. Like, there's more than that. Like, I think those sorts of places like represent community and safety. Like, there's safety in numbers. Like,
Well, you don't go to them.
no, I don't, because
Why not?
for a number of reasons. Like, I've never felt like I've needed to. Like, I've never felt like I've needed to hide from the world. Like, I don't know.
Well, you say they're hiding.
Well, I think part of it, there's a fear of the outside world because you grow up with judgment. I came out and my family were accepting. A lot of people don't have that experience, but I understand why you would group together because it feels safer. Whereas I don't understand why people would be in groups of friends linked only by your sexuality. Like, that to me is a really tenuous link. So, I like to have male friends,
That's better, mate.
male friends, female friends, straight friends, gay friends, whatever. But I also, I don't have this fear of, moving out into the world and being the only gay person around. Like, I can handle myself. I also, once upon a time it would have scared me, but, it's a more rich and interesting experience to be out mingling with people of different backgrounds and persuasions. And I also, if somebody has an issue with me being gay, I don't care. I don't hold it against them. I'm happy to have a chat about it, but I'm not going to get offended, and nor do I think worse of them for not agreeing with me. You know, like, we're all entitled to our beliefs and our opinions, and that's what, you know, going back to the cancel culture thing.
Sorry.
I heard it.
I just wanted to say something, like, what do you guys want to be called? Like, there's so many names. There's gay, there's fag, there's queer.
I'm pretty sure fags is
homosexual.
One of the...
Yeah, but you guys call yourself fags.
Well,
and you call yourself queers.
yeah.
But if I say, hey, he's a queer, they go, hey, you can't say that. But
Well,
you guys can say, oh, I'm queer.
Yeah, because I think it comes back to that whole, those were words that were used to, like, oppress or, like, other people, or make you feel, you know, belittle you. So, like, when you can take those words and use it in your group of friends and own it, then it takes the power out of it, right? So it's not hurting you anymore. And if you can use it, then...
Okay, that makes sense. See, I would never call a gay person, I would never introduce them. Actually, here's another point. Why... Like, and I do it all the time with you, right?
Yeah.
I go, this is my gay mate.
Because he likes the reaction.
No, I don't. It's not at all. What reaction?
Because you think it's
What,
cool.
you think you're going to go, well, it's not cool to be gay.
No, because the girls will be like,
Yeah,
oh, man,
instantly.
this is a big sensitive man. He's got a gay mate. Oh, wow, he's evolved.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that because I'm just pointing it out. Like, but then again, we don't go, oh, this is Matthew. He's straight. But why do we do that?
Well,
Like,
I think probably, like, you know, it's a minority, right? Like, so you need like a hand
not anymore.
wait, but
Yeah, there's squillions of you.
yeah, for a group of people who can't reproduce, there seems to be more.
Yeah,
and more.
exactly. But you need us.
It is true.
Without us, you guys are toast.
Yeah, Mum did an alright job. No, I think I've lost my chain of thought. What was the question?
Oh, like gay people. I think gay's the right word. But,
Yeah.
but gay's like happy. Hey,
Yeah.
you know, it's so like, and homosexual just doesn't sound right.
Homosexual sounds like
yuck.
like a disease. Like, it's like you're at the doctor and he comes in and he's like, "I'm sorry, sir, the results are back."
You're a homosexual.
No, you have homosexuality and it's terminal.
Oh my god.
You know, like,
Yeah.
that's what
Shoot me.
that's what it sounds like.
No, it'd be real bad.
It's quite medical.
Yeah.
Like, even heterosexual, like,
yeah.
they're just such clunky words, right?
Clunky. Really
Yeah.
clunky. I'm glad you said that.
I think it's clunky.
So, but like for me, queer, like lots of gays call themselves queers, and I think queer's like not a nice word at all, because queer, like, it sounds like you're a weirdo, and you're not weird. You're just a minority.
Yeah, you could be queer because
I'm weird.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It's the same thing.
But you've hijacked that word, you guys.
Well, I don't know. I don't care what people call me. If you introduce me as gay, that's fine. But I'd like to think that there are things that are more interesting about me. Like, there are things that are much more important in my character or my makeup than my fucking sexuality. Like, it's not that interesting,
Exactly.
you know?
Shall we move on from the sexuality?
Well, we come back to it because it's interesting, and it's also like,
We've identified that you're a homo.
tick.
Yeah. Okay.
And that you're cool with it.
Yeah, I am cool with it, mate.
He is.
I am cool.
He is, and I
It's real
think,
cool.
I think,
The only thing that I'm not cool with is we went to the gym once.
no,
He gets real,
he gets old nugget.
he gets real grumpy when I bring the story up. Anyway, he'll deny it,
No, what?
but he turned up in a pair of pink tight
I'll deny that
shorts.
because it's
Oh,
utterly,
what colour were
that's
they?
utterly incorrect. They were green.
Oh, they were green tight shorts. Okay.
They were stubbies.
Yeah,
That's fine.
There you go. Stubbies went out in the 70s, right? My grandmother used to dress me in stubbies and go to tennis tournaments.
I'm
and they were-
Monaco's only redneck. Like, that's how I should be introduced.
And they were
Just
like really tight fitting, right? So I've been going to this gym for a while. I don't speak French, but your gym culture, united the boys and give a wink to the girls and that. You ruddy. You don't talk to anybody. Well, I don't. I just get on with my workout. I can already see he's feeling uncomfortable. Anyway, we walked in and holy shit, did I feel uncomfortable, because all of a sudden everybody, I'd out of my cover and I was definitely queer. Oh my God. It was only for a couple of seconds. I sweated for
It was not a couple of seconds. He was so uncomfortable. He keeps saying to me, "Oh no, it was just a couple of seconds." It flashed through my head. he was so uncomfortable that I felt bad for them. But at the same time, I was like, that says more about you than me. You know?
What do you mean? No, it just says that I felt uncomfortable.
Yeah,
because
and that-
you were dressed like a queer. Like a raving fucking pink. Like, just don't, like, dress like a bear or an electrician or something.
I was
Just
more,
don't dress like a pinky.
I was more like a Twinkie. I'm
Oh, a Twinkie. Sorry.
I'm 45 instead, and I'm way too old for that.
Yeah. But you don't look 45.
No, I know.
Amazing.
It's cost a lot.
Amazing. Sure has.
But I was there thinking like,
Turkey's made a shitload out of David.
It's been a worldwide expedition. I was thinking more, this poor guy, they're going to think, fuck, he's here with his grandson, who's like, not, you know, like, and he's been caned, like, he's
What?
weight there, he's running fast,
I don't
like,
care how much weight
like this
you
kid's
lift,
a
mate.
machine, and there's old mate trying to keep up.
Jesus, should we take our shirts off, mate? You've got those fake stomach muscles and all the bullshit.
Ain't nothing fake there.
Mate, you've got a fake ass. It's
No,
embarrassing. Like,
I'll be open
mate,
about
just put
anything.
the work in. Just
I'll
put the
be-
work
I'll
in.
be open.
Okay,
I'll
just
put a lot of work.
Do some squats.
Interesting.
Do some sit-ups.
Interestingly, for anyone who's interested, he's not been back to the gym with me since. Like, we used
I
to
won't.
train.
No, I won't. I won't go. But I did buy him. I did buy him something for his birthday. It's on Sunday, but I'm not going to give it away now.
Saturday,
But
so.
I think you can. Just if you use your imagination, you'll probably work out that it's a pink leotard,
Whoa.
but it's a size 2. Just so we get the meat and veg packed up, just proper. Anyway, no shit. We're going down the toilet here.
Okay,
I think we should wind it up.
I
because-
think so. I think we've probably.
because I've embarrassed you now, and I didn't want to do that.
No,
Are you sure?
You can't embarrass
Okay,
me.
well, stop rubbing your
Maybe
face.
you can't embarrass him. I love that. Stuff.
What can we expect in the future? Well, for somebody that's never done a podcast before, I would say about
Episode 2 would be good.
yeah, we'll struggle to do that, though. So what can we expect? Well, I think we can expect more on ADHD because apparently I've got it, and if I have got it, then I reckon it's something you probably want to get because it served me pretty well.
100%. 100%. I want to explore it more. So there's a therapist that I have.
Speaking of the mic, Dave,
There's a therapist that I
too
have in
close.
New Zealand that I've been going to for a long time because that's just what you do. You see a therapist.
See, when
you want to-
we'll talk about therapy because I've never been to a therapist, and I probably need
I rest my case.
I need therapy more than anybody else. I reckon.
No, you don't. You are a therapist. You kind of we're each other's therapists.
No, don't stop it.
Kind of.
No, next thing you're going to say, I'm a twink. All right, what do we got else?
So, yeah.
What does it mean to be a male in today's society? Because you know what, I'm really flipping confused because. Back in the day, in my day, like I've sort of crossed 2 generations, right, or 3 or 4 or 5, but back in the day, like people, I guess people have described me as a bad boy, whatever a bad boy is, and the bad boy used to get the girls, right? He used to be able to nick the girls off the rich guys. You know, the rich guys always have the hot girls, and the hot girls would be like, look at that bad guy. Well, let me tell you, you've got no chance of getting a girl like, we're talking, you know, like a smoke show with good personality, you know, like down to earth. Actually, I'm not sure what I'm going right about there, but because basically everybody's a gold digger now. Would that be right?
Well,
Especially here.
I think you go to certain areas and you're going to find those sorts of people.
Mate, in Monaco, it's ridiculous, right?
It's currency.
And these girls are going out with the world's ugliest men. Like seriously, they've been hit with the ugly stick not once but at least twice, right? And they have got absolute glamours. So yep, they're gold diggers, but it's so frustrating because they come over and they talk to you and they love you having a yak and you make them laugh and da-da-da. But do you think you can get a date? Mate, impossible. And here's a little thing. I was out with a mate of mine the other night. Do you mind if I
No,
I was out with a mate of mine the other night, and we were in this real cool nightclub in Cairns. It's called Christie's, and we're at the bar, and the place is pumping. And this the guy I'm with is a really he's a good-looking dude, 28, 6'4", just owns the room. You know, I come in and I sort of take the level down quite a bit, but we're standing there and like, we're not getting a lot of attention. I'm looking around the place and there's all these girls crowded around these tables, right? And I'm like, so I call the waiter over and I'm like, hey mate, how do we get up there? And he goes, oh, it's minimum $2,000, 2,000 euro spend. I'm like, I look at my mate, check my pockets, check my phone, look at my credit card balance. Oh, probably can't afford this. Mate, we want a table. Well, we got a table, and let me tell you, the place just exploded with pussy. Like, all of a sudden, it was like bees to a honeypot. I'm like, I looked at my mate, I'm like, bro, this absolutely sucks. We had nothing. We haven't changed. I haven't changed my clothes. I certainly don't look any different. What's different? We've got money. Right.
The perception of it.
Isn't that bullshit? So, you know, I want to talk about in our next podcast, if we ever get to it, what it means to be a man. Why is it that money is just the be-all and the end-all now, which it shouldn't be because it's just a piece of paper.
Well, yeah, I mean, money in itself is a whole different, episode in itself. Where we live, it's, such a huge part of what it makes the world go round. But down here, it's not everything.
Everything. It's the only thing.
If you're not careful, it's everything. So it'd be fascinating to talk a bit more about that. Your experience, my experience. France, Monaco, yeah, we were right next to each other, but they're different.
So different.
Different beasts. For good and, there's good and bad. I want to talk about dating.
Yeah.
What does that mean in the world these days?
The only way you get girls to call you back or text you back, they don't call you back, they text you back, is if you ignore them. Now, what's that? Like, how's that communication? Like, oh, let's ignore them, be too cool, da-da-da.
It's a
just
dance.
Don't get it.
It's always been a dance.
Fuck, that's the
It's always
worst
been a
dance of
dance.
all time.
It is. It's just this technology. Anyway, that's a whole other episode. You're ADHD. You're digressing.
Yeah.
Okay. We want to do a family, broken families, backgrounds. Your family's a mesh of like marriages and children and steps and halves, and I've got stepkids who are
And I've definitely got no money.
anymore. Well, we're not going to make much from this, mate.
No.
Long may it last. I've got stepkids. I'm in my 40s. I've got step grandkids. Like, it's interesting. My husband has an ex-wife. We do family holidays together. What is a modern family? What are the family values that matter these days? Family to me is really important. I think they're core values, but they can be different from the traditional.
Yeah.
Addiction. I want to talk about addiction. Because I love talking about addiction. Addiction is my superpower. Like, we can get into that. I can use it for good. I can use it for bad. Used it a lot for bad, but I want people to know that it's not the end of the world. Like, life can get incrementally better. We want to bring in a lot of people who know what they're talking about too.
Because we don't.
We like to ask questions, but we're not. We're happy to know that, to let you know that we don't really know all that much.
Yeah, but you know what? What I do know is life is about connection, and you don't get connection from social media, from the telephone, from walking down the street, looking away from people. You get connection by engaging, and by engaging I mean looking at people in the eyes and saying g'day and then seeing what happens. And we've just lost the art of that, and that's something that we want to make sure that this podcast, if we can teach people, it's how to make relevant and meaningful and long-lasting and life-affirming connections with other people, and how to do it.
Yeah, it can be rewarding, and it's, we want to pass it on a little bit. I'm more of a cynic than Matthew, one might say.
Yeah, you are. You are a cynic, hey?
I'm a little cynical.
Absolutely.
I see the worst.
We've run quite a few experiments over the last 2, 3, 4 months, and I'm sort of getting him around.
I'm getting there.
But yeah, like I say,
I have a low threshold for fuckwits, and I just assume everyone's a fuckwit until proven otherwise. So I need to sort of rejig my thinking.
Yeah.
And live more in the grey.
But anyway, that's it for us. There's a whole lot of ramble. But hopefully you'll get a little bit out of it. And if not, don't tune in.
À la prochaine, as we would say in sunny south of France.
It's next week.
Till the next one.
À la prochaine.
Told you he's playing.
Okay. Au revoir.
See you, chaps and ladies.